Jurassic Park. Hey guys, 8-Bit Andy back again with a review for Jurassic Park for the Snes. So, monster movies have been huge box office ever since, well, as far back as the 30s. And, you know, going through the years, you'd have things like Jaws and The Thing. Well, in 1993, it was my generation's turn, and Jurassic Park was released, based on a novel by the popular science writer Michael Crichton, and directed by Steven Spielberg. Jurassic Park was an absolute phenomenon, and it came out a year after the groundbreaking Terminator 2, which had pushed CGI boundaries like really far. Well, Jurassic Park went one step further, mixing animatronics with CGI effects, and at the time, you know, it was staggering to look at. And of course, you know, every kid was obsessed with dinosaurs. I certainly was, and yeah, the craze of Jurassic Park really did sweep the world, I think. Action figures and sticker albums, t-shirts, and of course, video games. It was a completely different time for multi-platform gaming. You wouldn't get, like, necessarily Call of Duty across the board looking roughly the same. Games were often developed by different developers and were completely different on one system than the other. And so was the case with Jurassic Park on the Snes. The Snes release came slightly later in 1994, after the game got sent back for having graphics that weren't considered up to par for the time.
That is one big pile of shit.
But when it did come out, it was great. It was a huge departure from the average movie time that would follow the sort of basic left to right platforming route. Jurassic Park tried something completely different. So the protagonist is Dr. Alan Grant.
Because Grant's like... he's a digger.
And with little regard for filling the game out with storyline, you're just dumped straight into the middle of the park after everything has already gone completely awry.
Hold on to your butt.
The decision to go with a top-down viewpoint when you're outside and a 3D sort of first-person view when you're inside was a great one, and it really differentiates the game. The top-down view looks great, and it's kind of a sort of cartoony caricature of Jurassic Park, and it's really well done. And the mechanics outside are quite solid, even if the shooting is slightly easy. Inside, the 3D first-person viewpoint is heavily restricted to allow the struggling Snes to pull off a third-person viewpoint. Not the first or last time the Snes did this. It plays well despite an awful frame rate and slow movement, the kind of things that would cause meltdowns on internet forums today. But it's not a big deal, and it still plays. It's still fun to play. The problems lie in navigating these areas, as a lot of the rooms look the same and it's easy to get lost. Characters from the movie pop up and try and help you with where to go and what to do, but they're not really of much help. And in the case of Dennis Nedry, they like actively give you bogus advice. So yeah, Nedry's a prick in the game, just like the movie.
Dodson! Dodson! We've got Dodson here!
Even Mr. DNA pops up every so often with some helpful dino factoid for you. So,
bingo. Dino DNA.
When I was a little kid, like, I was kind of a dork. Like, who would have guessed it, right? And I read the book. I read the book when I was like 11 years old, and the book is very different from the movie. And the game actually follows the book more closely than it does the film. More on that later. Many of the film's landmarks appear within the game, helping it to capture the feel of the movie. The visitor centre, the gates, the electric fence, the kitchen are all in place. Unfortunately, John Williams' spectacular score is entirely omitted from the game, and instead replaced with some admittedly catchy jungle-sounding tunes. This feels like a misstep, and some of the film's music would have gone a long way to help in the game. The major flaw with this game is not knowing where to go, and it not being particularly helpful with letting you know your next clue as to what you need to do. Initially you'll enjoy exploring the island and seeing the various parts of Jurassic Park, but it quickly becomes monotonous, and it's better played with a guide or a map at least. You'll spend a lot of time backtracking, looking for ID cards to open up certain doors. Skill-wise, the game's pretty easy, like the shooting mechanics and abundance of ammo which regenerate inside the buildings make the game pretty straightforward if you know where to go. But the trouble is, that's a big if. The dinosaurs oddly explode when shot with some weapons. This could have made the film even more awesome.
They should all be destroyed.
Robert Muldoon, my game warden from Kenya.
The dinosaurs themselves look great, and the velociraptors leap out of hedges and scare you.
Clever girl.
And the T-Rex doesn't fuck about.
We have a T-Rex.
The Triceratops is now healthy. Will trample you if you get in his way, and he can't be killed, so just keep out of his way. Tim Murphy pops up.
Gala minus.
informing you not to kill the Gallimimus as they'll stampede. Well, ignore the little shit and kill the Gallimimus anyway, because they become a pain later in the game. So yeah, slaughter a lot of them. Tip for you. So the game's broken down into 6 objectives. First up, you've got to restore the power by turning on the generator in a scene lifted straight from the movie, although there's no Mr. Arnold to be seen.
Oh, Mr. Arnold.
You've got to reboot the computer following that.
You didn't say the magic word.
Secure the visitor centre and find out how the raptors are getting in. You have to clear the ship of dinosaurs and stop them from sailing. And the ship plays quite a big role in the game, just like it does in the book. And again, the next mission to gas the raptor nest is lifted straight out of the original Michael Crichton novel. And finally, you've got to contact the mainland for help. There's a side mission as well where you have to collect up the dinosaur eggs, proving Ian Malcolm correct.
But again, how do you know they're all female? Or does somebody go out in the park and pull up the dinosaur skirts?
And yeah, that's an optional thing though, you don't have to bother with that. And to be honest, you'll do well to get through the game without bothering to find them. But I guess for the sort of OCD completionists out there, they may want to hunt them all down. So the big question, is Jurassic Park worth buying, worth playing today? I would say yes and no. I think it depends on whether you are into the franchise as a whole. If you are, by all means pick it up. I would advise playing it with a guide to sort of restrict the sort of frustration levels of the game, finding where to go, working out what to do. I think trying to play the game without that would be a massive chore. It's not a particularly long game and it's not difficult. It could be finished if you knew where to go in probably, I don't know, probably less than an hour. I'm sure there are people on YouTube or whatever that have done it really, really quickly. But it's good fun, and for me, as a huge Jurassic Park fan, I would say give it a go. It's really cheap as well. So yeah, there's Jurassic Park for the Super Nintendo. I hope you enjoyed my brief retrospective look at it. Thank you very much for watching. Coming up on the channel next week, I've got what I consider to be like the best pickup video I've ever done. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe, and yeah, you'll get to see that next week. So thanks again, and yeah, like and comment, get involved, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Now eventually you do plan to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right?